guys, welcome back to the Real Southern Garden. I am Sarah, and today we're talking about companion plants for roses. We're going to be talking about roses a lot here because I love growing roses, and I am on a mission to help everyone else in the South and in the Southeast that wants, especially the South, that wants a beautiful rose garden and is just trying to pull it off. It's a little tougher out here. I literally tell people it's like Survivor for roses, and it is, because we have everything that wants to eat them, all the fungus, all the humidity, the heat, we have everything. So if I can grow roses here, you can grow roses here, and I'm definitely going to help you out. We're going to have videos on how to plant them, how to amend the soil. I've got a special recipe. I say it's a secret, but it's really not anymore, because when I worked at the Rose Nursery online, it was online Rose Nursery, I'm not going to tell you which one it was, but I know I've probably talked to a lot of you on the phone. I shared it with hundreds for sure, of people and told them this is how I plant my roses, and it works really great no matter where you live. And that is really the most important thing. Getting your rose to thrive is how you plant it. But it's still kind of early. It's not really spring yet. We'll do that video soon. But today we're talking about companion plants for roses. So you guys that are planting your rose garden this year can kind of start to get ideas of what to put with them. So you might be saying, well, Sarah, why do I need companion plants? Why can't I just have all roses in my garden? Well, there's a couple of reasons why you might not want to do that. If you live in the South, like I do, really if you live anywhere in the country, roses are going to kind of go dormant during the hottest parts of the summertime. Belinda's Dream, I've got a video on her that I recently did. It's one of the ones that does pretty well when it's hot and will still bloom, but most roses are just going to slow down and they're going to go dormant, and they're not going to bloom all the time. Also, you have repeat blooming roses, which are roses that bloom in big flushes. They'll be listed as repeaters on the website or nursery, wherever you're looking at the rose to buy it. It'll say repeat blooming rose, or it'll say continual blooming. And continual bloomers bloom, they have blooms on them throughout the season. Repeat bloomers are going to take a break. They're going to bloom like a big fireworks show and then take a break for 6 weeks or 5 weeks, or depending on your climate, whatever it is, then bloom again. Now, the tricky thing is, like I always say, climate really does matter, because sometimes, especially where it's hotter, those roses that are listed as continual bloomers may behave more like a repeat bloomer. So they just bloom in big flushes and stop. And then I've had that happen. It's just par for the course. Sometimes plants behave different in different spots, and you'll see that as you grow roses through time. But that's where companion plants come in, because you have something beautiful to look at that is blooming when your roses are just chilling out and taking a break, and they are notorious for doing that. And number two, it's really great for beneficial insects and building those good insects in your garden by having some plants that ward off and keep some of the other insects out of it, like mites and some beetles and just things that you don't want in there. So rosemary is a really great thing to grow. You can do mint, but you've got to keep mint in a container. If you have little containers of mint around your garden, it can be really great to keep pests away, but you don't want to plant that in your garden because it will take it over. So mint is crazy, definitely. There are things like catmint, which is in the Nepeta family, which is my all-time favorite perennial to grow. You'll see it in a video coming up. I highly recommend her. She's in all the English style gardens. Mine's a little bit English style. It's also a little bit wild. It's kind of like formal, but yet not formal. It's a blend. It's a nice blend. But I love Walker's Low catmint. Going to be adding a lot more of it this season into my garden. Another thing that's great about companion plants, so we have the fact that they help with beneficial insects and keeping insects that we don't want in the garden away, keeping our roses overall healthier. By doing that, they can ward off black spot even better. But companion plants also help you tie in your rose garden. So if you like to have different color roses all over your rose garden, but you still want it to look really cohesive, you can use a plant like Walker's Low catmint and put that in all different areas of your rose garden, and it will tie it together. So you can use companion plants, especially perennial companion plants, to get that job done. And it's fantastic. I usually will do 2 or 3 of the same variety of roses in clumps because I like that look. But for some people that don't, but they still want to kind of tie things in, you can have different color roses and just use those plants all over your garden, kind of, that same color, that same variety, and it will really tie in your entire garden together. So that's a neat little trick too. But I'm going to take you back in time a little bit to last season, show you some beautiful shots of the Atlanta Botanical Garden and their rose garden, which is one of my favorite rose gardens. They have a really neat mixing of companion plants in their rose garden for the same reasons I'm telling you. And keep in mind too that I love going to botanical gardens. I love going to big fancy gardens like that. But remember, they have a whole crew of people that help them keep it like that and keep it beautiful. And you and I, as home gardeners, probably don't have a giant crew doing that. Maybe some people do, I don't know. But I'm the crew right here. Me and my husband help sometimes, but you're looking at the crew. So anyway, guys, let's get into this video and let me show you what I'm growing as companion plants back here in my rose garden. Also, guys, for your rose gardening, if you need some really great gloves, the ones that come to your elbows, my favorite ones are listed in the description, and so are all the things I have for my cheap alternative deer fencing that I used to use before I had my giant guard dogs that I have. My guard dogs, they're not guard dogs, they're just dogs, but they keep the deer out of my rose garden now. But before I had them, you'll see them in the video. I've got some pictures of the bamboo stakes with the deer X mesh and the little barrel. It's a certain barrel clip on Amazon. They're in a couple of the pictures, so you'll see that. And if you need a cheap alternative to keep deer out of your rose garden, that's not a spray, that's not a several $1,000 fence, because that's what it costs for fencing, check it out in my description. All right, starting off here with some beautiful pictures from the Atlanta Botanical Garden. That looks like Munstead wood, that previous picture of that dark rose. I'm not sure which one it is. And this is when my oldest daughter was a baby. This was in April, actually, and you can see the snapdragons and just all the beautiful companion plants, how great they look. I mean, they do a spectacular job, and that's in April, of course. It looks different throughout the growing season, just like your rose garden and my rose garden does, but they always have something really beautiful there. They just do a great job. There's a little video of this was actually 2 summers ago. So here is my garden, and I have Walker's Low catmint as one of my perennials that I grow. It is as you heard me say, my absolute favorite. I just love the color. It reminds me a lot of lavender. That is Summer Romance right there in front of her. And I'm going to be adding a lot more catmint this year. I just want to have it all over my rose garden and just tie in different areas. And it's just a very easy care plant. It blooms all summer, all season for me actually, right up to frost, and really can't ask for anything more. Here's where you can see a little bit of that deer fencing and the bamboo stakes that I use. You can see it back there. A little bit in that shot as well. And that's Earth Angel rose right there that you're looking at. There's the bamboo stakes. There they are again. That is a David Austin rose, Molyneux or Molyneux. There's David Austin and Earth Angel together, the Molyneux and that one. You can also see here the little pots of rosemary that I have. So rosemary is another plant that is fantastic in rose gardens because it keeps aphids and some other things out. Boxwoods, you see those in every rose garden. So this was Barnsley Gardens. This is their old rose garden, and these are very tall boxwoods, as you can see. Some of these are hundreds of years old, but it's very kind of traditional to have a rose garden boxed in by boxwoods, especially in a formal garden. So I've kind of tried to adapt that to my own garden. I used wintergreen boxwood, which you can find at all the big box stores. It does really well for me in full sun, and they're very inexpensive. There's another shot of Earth Angel. That's like a 4-year-old plant, by the way. She won't have that look right away, so keep that in mind. You can see Earth Angel, and then I have a little bit of the Walker's catmint to the left of her. I'm going to be adding some more right down on the other side of her, of course. And then I'm going to show you how my boxwoods have grown from that first image to now. They were super, super tiny when I planted them, and they've actually grown pretty quick. So been very happy with the wintergreen boxwood. They also stay green, just like the name says, throughout the winter. I also put in some agastache, or I don't know how to pronounce that, but that's what you're seeing, those little yellowy peach looking plants right there. They are a new perennial that I added this year. And honestly, the boxwoods are even a little bit bigger now than they are in this picture because, well, right now it's winter, so the photo wouldn't look as good. So I decided to put this one in there, but they have grown even a little bit more than this. And of course, the boxwoods, you know, you probably have already heard this, but they grow very slowly. But I would say wintergreen is a quicker growing boxwood than some of the other cultivars. There's another shot of the agastache. Again, I really do like her. I think I already mentioned this, but she's in the mint family, but she is not invasive. She's not gonna go crazy and take over the garden like mint does. And then encore azaleas. That is another favorite plant for me to have in my rose garden. I've got some white, I think they're called Autumn Angel right here. And then I just put in a nice warm pink variety on the other side. I have a video of me doing that back in the fall, and they always are blooming when my roses aren't, and I just love it. So here's an example of having some lilies. This is at the Botanical Garden, Atlanta Botanical Garden. They have some Asiatic lilies there, a lot of daylilies. Here's my daughter at our property in front of some of our old Asiatic, hard to say, lilies. This is one of our daylilies that we just put into the rose garden this year. Here is a second one. There are a lot of daylily growers here in the greater Atlanta area. And then here is the border, again at the Atlanta Botanical Garden, and just you can see how beautiful they have intermixed things in. All right, guys, I'm just gonna share a couple lists of some other really great companion plants for your roses. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, if you'll hit that subscribe button and give us a thumbs up, we will see you right back here next time in the next video at the Real Southern Garden. Bye.